Hello and welcome to ThePrint. My name is Deepika Amirapu. During the election season 2026, we bring you yet another conversation from Tamil Nadu, the capital city of Chennai. And joining me today in conversation is Mr. Vinoj P. Selvam. He's a senior BJP leader, the state secretary, and he's going to unpack for us today on what the BJP's investment is in the state, in local politics, and what its intended outcome will be for 2026. And everything that the party achieves in 2026, the impact it would cause in 2029. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. If we were to, go back, leaf through the pages of the past and actually begin 2014, after Mr. Modi became the Prime Minister, how would you look at tracing the BJP's journey in Tamil Nadu from then for us? Because there were some unusual names of presidents who were brought in. At the time, J. Jayalalitha was the chief minister, which is why Tamilisai Soundararajan was made the president. And I think there was one thing good that came out of that tenure, which is she said one-line slogan, which said that in all over Tamil Nadu, the lotus will bloom. Of course, she said that in Tamil, and I'm unpacking it for our viewers and listeners. So how would you trace the journey of the BJP in the last 12 years?
See, I've had the fortune of being with the BJP from the year 2007. So we have seen how the party had struggled to get any sort of recognition in a state which has always been dominated by two large giants, the Dravidian parties, the giants in terms of the political landscape as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. So to get an identity for a national party, I think over the last 5 decades, the other national party, Congress, which was prevalent, which was before the DMK took over, has completely lost its individuality or identity as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. So they just seem to be a back-end operation of the DMK in Tamil Nadu. So for a national party to come and gain a foothold or a recognition of a people to relate itself has become a big challenge. This is more decisively because of the kind of politics, particularly DMK had done in the past, trying to alienate Tamil Nadu from the rest of the mainland India. Trying to say that our identity is different, our culture is different. Though the culture of Tamil Nadu is one and all with the rest of the country, people have started to realize that, they were brainwashed to be believing that, we live a separate style of life. So to break that synonymity and then to make people relate to BJP has been a journey in itself, and we only have one man to thank for the people of Tamil Nadu to today relate to the BJP, and that's Sri Narendra Modi, Honorable Prime Minister. So I think the Prime Minister's actions and activities over the years, the number of visits he has made to Tamil Nadu, just for a matter of relevance, if we could just quote numbers, even after 2024 when the parliament elections happened, the DMK and the alliance, they swept through the state. Though the 39 seats had gone to the India Alliance, even after that, between 2024 and 2026, the Honorable Prime Minister has visited Tamil Nadu at least 8 times. On the contrary, the leader of the Congress, the supreme leader of the Congress, Rahul Gandhi, his visit was only once to Tamil Nadu, that too to the peripheral small town of Gudalur, because he had visited Wayanad. He just visited a school which is about 30 kilometers away.
Gudalur is in the Nilgiris.
Yes. So that was the only time he even stepped into Tamil Nadu over the last 2 years. So that just shows the stark difference between the amount of interest Sri Narendra Modi takes in the welfare and the development of the state, and compared to Rahul Gandhi, to whom Tamil Nadu was given about 8-9 MPs, if I'm right, 8-9 MPs of the Congress are there. MPs. But though the BJP was not able to win, the Prime Minister still keeps coming back, which just shows his commitment towards the state. And I think this commitment is what has helped us create an identity for ourselves as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned.
Okay. You went back into 2024, but then I want to draw you back a little. After Jayalalitha's death, there was a little phase when Murugan was made the president. It was a stopgap arrangement. I mean, he was associated with the ABVP, they say, in many ways. But again, Annamalai was brought back because there was a phase when the BJP was actually polling less than Nota. Though Modi had come to power, there were many visits, as you say. Annamalai was brought in and made the president at that point in time. And I'm given to understand that the mandate was threefold. The first being that you grow the party, You shatter the narratives built by the DMK. And the third, of course, make the party a strong opponent to both the Dravidian parties. How successful have you been between the period as a party, between 2014 to 2021 or later, in ensuring that this mandate that was given by the central BJP was fulfilled?
See, ever since the DMK faced a rout in 2014, they went on a journey to make sure that they start to spread hatred against the BJP, especially against Narendra Modi. So again, they brought the entire Hindi imposition and the South-North divide and trying to unite the southern states, calling them the United States of South India. All sorts of efforts were made by the fringe groups supported by the DMK, and they were doing that constantly, and they also were better at using the social media to their advantage, especially Instagram and WhatsApp and Facebook, through which they were able to convince people to have a certain sort of hatred towards the BJP. So it was a time when narrative setting by the DMK was difficult to be destroyed by the BJP. We didn't have the sort of foot soldiers or the social media network to counter them at that point of time, though the BJP's recognition was getting improved across the state. So 2014 to 2019 was a very shaky period for the BJP, though we were in power at the center. Getting the recognition or getting the people to go vote for the lotus symbol was still a big challenge for us. So then came 2021 when, after 2019, when Dr. L. Murugan was made the state president, and we had an alliance with the AIADMK at that point of time, and that is when after 20 long years we were able to open our mark into the assembly, and we were able to send 4 MLAs.
Yeah, but you had 4 seats at that point in time and a 2.6% vote share, whereas the Congress had about 18 seats and 4.3% vote share. Not too much of a difference in terms of vote share, but a huge difference in terms of seats.
Number of seats.
Why did that really fail to convert after the 2019 alliance? I mean, when you came into 2021, why didn't that really?
See, 2021 was an alliance which the BJP was facing along with the AIADMK, and the AIADMK was facing elections after 2 consecutive terms. Now, Tamil Nadu is a state which has always alternated between the DMK and the ADMK. So it was only the ADMK which managed to come back to power a couple of times when late MGR was alive. So after that, I think this was the first time that ADMK had managed to again come back to power, retain power in 2016. So the 10 years of anti-incumbency against the ADMK was pretty much being felt, and people had a sort of okay, why not we give a chance to DMK again? That sort of a mindset was more, and again, I'll have to give it to the DMK for the narrative building. They were able to have that sort of at that point of time, and they were able to convince people to believing that DMK was better for the state of Tamil Nadu. Of course, 5 years down the line, the opinion of the people is completely opposite, and I'm sure that most households have regretted the decision to have voted for the DMK in 2021. So post 2021 is really when the game changed as far as the BJP is concerned. The induction of Sri Annamalai as the state president of the BJP, it really helped to bash the narrative which was set by the DMK. Now in Annamalai we had a political leader who was able to put out a strong face, a message, and he was able to bash the DMK in their own language, which was very important. Going soft and trying to defend ourselves was not working. So BJP started to go on the offensive. So when we started to question the DMK, that's when they started to have their fall. So that really pushed the BJP's ability to counter the false narratives of the DMK. So the last 3 years between 2021 and 24 is when the narrative in Tamil Nadu started to change, and that is what helped to build the party at the grassroots level.
Absolutely. So I think those few years, the BJP was in Tamil Nadu was talked about all across the country. All of you came into prominence. I would not name just 1 or 2 leaders, but I think the entire BJP, the unit, the old brass, all of you came into a lot of prominence in 2024. When the election happened, you chose not to go with the ADMK, or they chose not to truck with you. But you did fairly well in terms of vote share. You did about 11.4%, but you didn't win any seats. Whereas the Congress had much lesser than you, about I think 10 point something, but they had 9 seats. Why, despite breaking the narrative, despite building the organization and strengthening your booth level presence across the state, why didn't it ever translate into number of seats?
See, again, the DMK's alliance has been a very strong unit for almost for several years. So the synergy between the workers, not at the leader level but at the grassroots level, between the DMK and its allies has always been strong over the years. And the 2024 election was more of a three-cornered fight. So when the AIDMK and the BJP were contesting alone, many of the neutral voters who are wanting to vote for the winning alliance chose to vote for the DMK's alliance, thinking that, okay, ADMK and BJP are standing separate, so I don't think there's a chance for them to win this election. Why not we go with the DMK sort of mode happened there. So BJP was able to garner great votes. In fact, we were able to trump and get the second position in over 70-80 assembly segments, which was a massive number for the BJP.
You yourself stood in central Chennai and you came second to Dayanidhi Maran, which is no mean feat at all.
So we were able to, coming to that point, Chennai is become a bastion for the BJP, especially because Chennai seems to be having a very high a number of users of the internet, and the literacy level also being much higher. They are able to understand and differentiate between the lies which are being propagated and the truth which is being realized by the people of the state. So Chennai is where the BJP's actual growth over the last 4 to 5 years has been a massive surge in the voter base of Chennai as divert themselves towards the BJP, which is a massive success story for us. So coming 2026, we would ideally like to harp on the previous success and try to build the organization more in terms of the numbers you're asking for. Not just the percentage of votes, but the number of people representing the party within the assembly is going to really matter for us in the year 2026.
Exactly. So what really is this election mandate for you coming into the election, that is, after Mr. Nayanar has taken over? What were you actually deciding to do about the shortcomings that you discovered after 2024, readying yourself for 2026?
See, 2026 is more of an election. It is less of an election for the BJP and more of an election for the NDA. So
why do you say that?
So the ultimate motive is to free the people of Tamil Nadu from the clutches of the DMK's rule. So we personally, as a political organization, beyond the political resonance which we have across the country, feel like a duty to ensure that the people should not go through what the people of Tamil Nadu are going through right now. It is literal jungle Raj. What Bihar was about 30 years back, Uttar Pradesh was about 30-40 years back, is Tamil Nadu today. There is no situation of law and order. A state which was always appreciated for its efficiency in terms of policing has today completely become a failed state under the DMK's watch. So, we feel that it is more of a duty towards the people of Tamil Nadu to make sure that we are able to work as an alliance, give the senior partner who has ruled the state for more number of years than any other political organization the upper hand, and allow them to lead from the front. Because, if we are going to have a leash and keep trying to pull them back, the alliance doesn't work like that. So, no one's a slave to anyone in an alliance. In an alliance, we are equal partners. Though we are equal partners, we respect the seniority of the AIDMK as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. And we have asked them to lead us and go along with them in terms of trying to ensure that we are able to get DMK out of the power. So that seems to be the ultimate motive at this point of time.
Okay. The 27 seats that you've gotten from the entire alliance, what was the thinking behind getting these 27 seats? I know internally the BJP has a categorization or a classification of ABC seats. But looking at the 27, a majority of them are in the south, right? What was the thinking behind the 27 seats? Why this number?
See, it was that's a decision of our state leadership. We have very senior leaders like Naina Nagendran, L. Murugan, who know what is best for the party. And I think it is their decision to have chosen seats where they feel that the party will be able to perform very well. So our leaders have taken this call, and I'm very sure that this call has been taken for the betterment and for the future of the party to be great. So I'm sure that the results on the 4th of May will be able to reflect their success on the selection of seats when we're able to seat for ourselves.
Of the 27, how many do you think are A category seats, and how many do you think will really win? Because because there are also rumblings within the BJP saying even it's not the number of seats, but we could have gotten seats that help us perform better? We don't want to be 4 or more.
See, there was a point of time when BJP never had even people to go and contest elections on their behalf. But today, the internal rumbling itself goes to show that every constituency, we have workers who are willing to go fight the election on behalf of the BJP. So there are aspirants in almost every constituency. The booth has been built in every constituency. So people have put their energy, effort, hard work, sweat and blood over the last years to make sure that the organization is as strong as the DMK and the AIADMK. So there is obvious wishing on part of the cadres that the BJP should contest a Velacheri or a T Nagar or a Kenathakadavu or a Virudhunagar or a Madurai North.
Yes.
Or any of these constituencies, take Srirangam, take Kunnur, many constituencies where the party seems to have a great presence, or Tirunelveli, for instance, or Tenkasi. So people want the Lotus to be contesting there. So that's an aspiration of the cadres of the BJP and also the people of the state. But in an alliance, as I told you, the lead partner is the AIADMK, and even the Honorable Home Minister has mentioned this several times over the past. So we are following the lead, and we are just working along with them. And the anti-incumbency in the state is extremely high at this point of time. So we want to make use of the anti-incumbency, and we want to promise the people of Tamil Nadu what they deserve.
Yeah.
You know what?
So you talked about this being the election for the NDA, not just for the BJP alone. So for the BJP, is this election about being present in all the 75,000 booths, showing its presence and ensuring that you can put up a fight? Or is it more about ceding space to the ADMK and say 2029 will be our game?
See, the BJP is a very, very lucky party in the sense that it is one political organization in the world which has selfless karyakartas, selfless workers who undermine themselves and put full effort to make sure that the BJP wins at any cost. So, the diktat being given by the central leadership of the party has taken as a mantra, as the Moola mantra, and they usually toe the line and they take orders very seriously.
What is the diktat?
So the diktat today, as I told you already, is to make sure that the DMK is taken out of power. So, in most places, the BJP's Karyakarta is already on the field, even more than AIADMK in certain places, because we are very serious about this election, and all our booth level workers have been activated. Everyone's out on the field already campaigning for the alliance per se, for the alliance as a whole. Let it be candidates from the PMK or AMMK or the smaller parties which are part of the BJP. So our cadres are already out in the field working towards the election. So in the process, elections is not just about the number of seats or the number of victories you get.
Right.
It's more about the organization being built. So the more we engage our cadres at the grassroots level, the more they experience the gain to face politics. 2029 will be more heated up, and it is definitely more of a BJP's election because you're going to be voting for the Prime Minister again. And the nation again wants the BJP to lead because the nation feels much more safer under the watch of the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP. So for this to continue, and for the southern state of Tamil Nadu particularly to be part of the developmental story.
Right.
So I think it's very important that we have more MPs to go and represent the people of Tamil Nadu. So we will be playing it better and much more in a way which will benefit the BJP's individual growth, because though we are an alliance, every individual party has its own aspirations to grow, and there are no two ways to it. It's no different for the BJP. We are an alliance, and we respect our alliance partners. So at the same time, we are not going to burn ourselves and just give light and not grow. We are not a candle. We are going to also be growing simultaneously. When your organization is growing, as much as we want Edapadi K. Palaniswamy to be the chief minister, we want the BJP to grow at the same time, and I'm sure that we will be doing that.
You're someone who's worked extensively in Chennai, having been a contestant in the parliamentary constituency. Why is it that the party was not able to net more seats for it in the state, given the fact that Chennai has been a metropolitan city of great size and great importance since the British times? Why is it that you were not able to put your foot down and get more seats in the city?
See, it would have been nice if the BJP had contested more constituencies here. Like I already mentioned, in 2024, the BJP was able to trump the AIADMK and bag a second position in about 14 assembly segments out of the 16, 17 odd assembly segments within the core city. So the BJP's strength in the core city today is much way higher than the rest of the state. And we have a lot of cadres who have selflessly worked against the onslaught of the DMK, particularly in the city, because the chief minister, the deputy chief minister, and a couple of other ministers, 3 other ministers, all hail from the city. So it is not easy working in the constituencies against them, but our cadres have really toiled over the years. Every time a leader from Delhi comes, every time the Honorable Prime Minister comes, every time the Honorable Home Minister comes, our cadres are out on the road welcoming them, giving them grand welcomes and all that. The cadres have really burnt themselves over the last few years to ensure and to make our presence felt. So personally, it is disappointing that the BJP was not able to contest from Chennai in more seats than one. But then again, when it's a matter of an alliance, there are compromises, there are sacrifices which are being made. It's not about the individual, it's about the organization. The organization stands much taller and much more bigger than any individual involved here. So the decision taken by our state president, we are with him, and we will continue to work in the interest of the Bharatiya Janata Party more than any individual specific person.
Why is Tamil Nadu so difficult to crack, Vinoj? Even in a state like Kashmir, in Jammu Valley, I think you literally swept. Punjab, you're making inroads. For the first time in many, many years, Orissa, you have a complete majority government. The BJP has a majority government. Northeast has been yours predominantly in the last 10 plus years. Why is Tamil Nadu so difficult?
See, the Dravidian party, especially the DMK, has over the years played a very smart game. They've understood the importance of art and culture in the world, not just Tamil Nadu. Art and culture plays a very important role in shaping cultures, in shaping the future, and explaining the past. So the DMK, from the time of Aringar Anna, from the time of Kalaignar Karunanidhi, has always used writing, art, as a way of inspiring and influencing people to believing that they are your solution, to make them believe that DMK is the solution to all your problems. Now they have been able to very successfully do that in the past. Generations have passed, and maybe they don't, MK Stalin or the grandson Udayanithi Stalin don't share the same genetic maturity of the late Karunanidhi, because he was a writer himself. So these people took the easier route. They had so much money, so they took the production. So they started Sun Group, which controls most of the cable networks all across the state, and they have over 70 plus channels which telecast the news the way they want to communicate to the people, and it also happens to be the oldest satellite TV. So the TRP of the Sun network always stays much higher than the other TV channels. Similarly, they ended up starting production houses like the Red Giant movies, the Dawn Pictures, so many movies, Sun Pictures. And all the major movies were being produced by them, bankrolled by them. And when you have the ability to bankroll the large movies, you also have the ability to influence the directors to
tailor the narrative.
Feed a certain sort of agenda to make people believe. This is mass communication, It is not like going and speaking on stage where you have 1,000 audience. This is mass communication.
And social media has only compounded the whole thing.
Exactly. Where lakhs and lakhs, crores of people are able to watch. And you're able to, even if you're able to influence 20-30% of the people through the agenda, narrative setting. Recently the DMK's first family produced a movie called Parashakti. So Parashakti outrightly exposed the Congress. Though, they are alliance with each other, they outrightly exposed the Congress as to how the Congress tried to actually impose Hindi. Though the Chief Minister today is talking about Hindi imposition and tries to pinpoint the BJP, blame the BJP for it. Now the movie which was being produced by their family themselves ended up agreeing that it was the Congress which actually tried to impose Hindi on the people of Tamil Nadu, and they made it, though it was a student movement, they tried to project as if it was the DMK which actually fought and made sure that this Hindi imposition was stopped, but it was an actual student movement. It was the students who resisted the imposition from being made on the people of the state. But the DMK is very good at hijacking movements, hijacking developmental stories, and they've been doing that from the 1960s till today, where projects of the central government are being stickered by the DMK saying it's a DMK project. Just changing the name of a project does not give you legitimacy over the project, but that's what the DMK has been doing now. So this mass communication method has really influenced and helped the DMK stay afloat over the years, till date, and make them stay relevant. So that is a big challenge, because The BJP doesn't have the sort of money the DMK has. We don't bankroll movies. We don't use cinema or art forms as a media of communication. We come out, we go house to house, door to door, and speak to people and give them plans and projects and make them understand what is the necessity, the need of the hour. And I'm sure that we have understood the art of cracking the DMK, and 2026 will make heads all across the country turn and see how well the BJP is able to make inroads in terms of making people understand that the DMK is nothing but a fast sham which has fooled the people of the state over the last 5 decades.
Tamil Nadu, the people of Tamil Nadu are highly emotional. They get swerved by what they see on the larger screens. We've had doyens, from the movie industries rule the state, including K. Karunanidhi, MGR, J. Jayalalitha. You have this one character called Vijay, the head of the Tamil Vetri. Have you been able to size him up? Has the BJP or any of the Dravidian parties really understand what he stands for or the dent he will create in the 2026 election?
See, the very interesting part is I don't even think Mr. Vijay knows what he stands for. Even he's not sure what he stands for. But today he's launched a political party. As I already mentioned, this monster was created by the DMK through the movies they made. So they made people believe that the cinema stars would come and save them from all their misery. And they influenced the minds of the people to believe the very same. So today Vijay stands as a person who people at times, when they gather in large numbers, maybe are believing that, okay, just like how he does on reel screen, will be able to replicate on the real scenario. So people who realize and understand that cinema and life reality are entirely different will not even think about voting for this person. But
But he seems to have captured the imagination of the youth.
Yes.
20 plus or even 18 plus, the first time voters, because the ADMK's, voters are a more mature vote base, maybe starts upwards of 35. But between 18 and 35 is a huge voter base that he's looking to capture. In my own travel across Tamil Nadu, I've realized how many women want to be voting for him. They're not sure what he's going to really bring to the table, but he seems to have captured the imagination of two very predominant voter bases.
See, I've mentioned this in a few of my interviews in the past. So Tamil Nadu is one state where the universities, you don't have the concept of student elections. So in other states across the country, let it be Karnataka or let it be Andhra or let it be Kerala, the concept of student elections is very important in shaping the person's ideology. You either become left, you become right, you become centrist, but you have an ideology.
Yes.
Because you end up voting for a student and then you try to decide on what he's going to promise you. So your interests are varied. You start focusing on more things than just cinema. But the very important tender age of between 17 and 22, where you're in college, your first year, your only focus apart from education is talking about cinema stars, heroes and heroines. So the mind of the students is always going towards cinema. So it is the DMK which successfully was able to eradicate the system of elections for students and make them get so addicted to the world of cinema and making them believe that the cinema stars are going to be their saviors. So one such person is Vijay, who was bankrolled by the DMK's family in several occasions. Red Giant Movies has taken movies with him. Sun Pictures has produced movies with him. So Vijay was part of that, with the nexus. He had great nexus with his family and he was acting on movies which are bankrolled by them.
Are you saying he's the B team of the DMK?
So, it is natural that we still have a doubt, like just how he was bankrolled to act in movies. What if he is not being bankrolled? What if he is being bankrolled to being a politician, to try to split the anti-incumbency votes to help the DMK win? But the
DMK themselves, off the record, have confessed to not being able to size up Vijay. They're also very worried about how many votes and he's going to really cut into, particularly in Chennai.
You can't size up this person because he has not faced even a council election so far. So what happens is when a star comes, even if it's a serial artist, there are a lot of people who stand by to see them, and Vijay being a superstar, Vijay being an actor, top tier actor, it is natural that people like to come because people are curious. People want to see if this person looks same on the screen, off screen. How does his hair look? What is the tone of his skin? How does his eyes look? Is the same of does he look very similar to what he is on cinema and in real? So if there are 1,000 people who are gathering to see him, 800 people who come there to see how does this man look in real? in reality. So the curiosity of the people is so high to see their stars who they've been admiring over the years on screen. So the number of people who are there to see him in that sense, in that angle also is very high. So will all these people actually go back to vote is a big question mark.
Yeah. So will this, real to real curiosity translate into electoral curiosity in 2026 is something that we will have to see. But his strategy of not coming out, being more visible in public seems to be working very, very well, because some say he doesn't want to expose himself, but the others say maybe this is a strategy to let people assume that he's going to be, cutting away a lot of the votes.
So the day, ma'am, someone like you sits and interviews actor Vijay is the day he'll get exposed. Because politics is not a business, it's a service. And you need to have immense knowledge of not just what's for tomorrow, but what happened in the past. You need to be knowing your history. You need to know what is politics. Some of us second-rung leaders go out and talk about reading Ambedkar at 14 and Periyar at 16. But, if they're actually being questioned on that, if they're being questioned, if they have to actually speak on Ambedkar, on what Ambedkar had said about certain sections of the people, or if they had to quote Ambedkar, these people would draw a blank. So politics is more than just stages and speeches. Politics is in-depth knowledge. If you don't know your past, you will not be able to put down a good future for the people you're going to be trying to rule. So actor Vijay's knowledge about what has happened in Tamil Nadu, and I don't know to what extent it is, because he has never really faced the media. He invites the media to come to his house for a photo op. He still never doesn't talk to them on record. So it is very important that people should understand the substance of an actor. Especially when he turns a politician, when he promises. Turned
politician, yeah.
So what substances does he have? Even now, the rhetoric is the same. He just goes on stage and he keeps saying, "I have left my luxurious life and come for you." What luxury have you left behind? You still fly your charters. You still leave within 30 minutes. You are not willing to stand under the sun. You're not willing to visit the people's houses of the deceased. You want them to come and see you. You have your candidate announcement in a 5-star hotel. You have your iftar party in one more 5-star hotel. So this is absolute luxury. You have the money and you're just luxuriously spending that to make sure it's convenient for you. So you're able to visit weddings of several affluent business families. But you've never had the time to visit the wedding of a fan club president, of a fan club head, of someone who died for you. But you didn't have the time to go see them. If crowds are not thronging to see you at the airport or at a affluent wedding function, why is the crowd going to come here? So it's only when you announce yourself and you're coming that people are going to gather to see you. So it's very contradictory what Vijay has been doing in the past. If people start to think deep, they'll understand that he's too shallow as a person, as an individual, and to expect someone so shallow to come and serve the people of the state seems like a very big question mark.
So coming back to the election and the voter base that Vijay has, the DMK is very confident that the Nan Mudalvan scheme which they have for the youth, the skilling, and the ones that they have for women or college goers, or the 1,000 rupees that they're giving to the head of the households, that will really vote them back to power, and they're confident of keeping that segment of voters. Just like Jayalalitha had a certain devoted segment of women voters who used to be voting for her. The BJP has this phenomenal track record of having women across the country voting for it. What do you think you're going to be doing in Tamil Nadu right now?
See, it is a shame that even after 50, 60 years of existence as an political organization, the DMK still has to give freebies to people to vote for them.
But the ADMK has also declared 10,000 rupees that it's going to give out. It's part of your alliance.
Right now, after 5 years of the DMK's rule, the holes in the pockets of all the people are completely burnt. People are a heavy burden right now. Though they had promised 1,000 rupees, the kind of taxation which was being put on the people's heads, the kind of debt the state owes to several banks across the country, the central government and banks across the World Bank and all that. The debt of the state is over 10.5 lakh crores today, which was said.
So why did you not weigh in on the ADMK to not make 297 poll promises, nearly 300 poll promises? You've just mentioned that the state debt is about 10.5 lakh crore. I don't see the BJP stamp on the manifesto. So did you yield that floor to them completely?
See, the election manifesto of every individual party is their own choice. The BJP doesn't influence the ADMK's manifesto, just like how they don't influence ours. Our manifesto
as an alliance.
As an alliance. Our manifesto is more focused, more based on development. Even when the last budget happened, though the Tamil Nadu elections were coming, it didn't mean that the Prime Minister made empty promises to the people of Tamil Nadu. He only spoke about a conducive environment to make sure that artificial intelligence gets a lot of importance. Semiconductor units being started all across the state, the policy being friendly so Tamil Nadu can benefit out of it. So it was more job oriented, creating job for the youth. It was more of giving skill development for the women. So the budget announcements were more generic to the people of the state for them to capitalize and to grow themselves beyond poverty. So what is the record in keeping people under poverty line and making them still stand in a line, stand in a queue for 1,000 rupees you're giving? That itself is a shame for the DMK to have been doing that. Today the AIDMK is forced to give freebies because they have to rescue people from the threshold the DMK has pushed them down to. So after 2031, I can promise you that this alliance, when we come back to fight the elections, there will be no freebies which are being promised. It will be development oriented. It'll probably be free health. It'll probably be free education.
Yes, but in a state where 32 out of 38 districts per capita income far exceeds the national average, what more development are you really talking about? Are you going to change the way welfare is going to be looked about also?
See, the development scale you're talking about, you need to compare it along with how the other states in the country have fared in the last 15-20 years. In the last 15-20 years, what was the disparity between Tamil Nadu and Gujarat? And today, where Gujarat has come, how much they have progressed against how much Tamil Nadu has progressed is something which we need to see. Because Tamil Nadu historically was a state which had already had a good progress because the British had one of the capitals as Madras and they had a massive advantage of having the port. So Madras per se itself was a very developed place. In fact, T Nagar, where we are sitting now, was probably India's first planned residential settlement which was being made. So T Nagar itself is about 105 years old. This is the history I'm talking about, which is very important as a politician you need to know. So Madras per se was already developed. But today, a Bangalore or a Hyderabad which was dependent on Madras, today has gone way ahead. The kind of development which Hyderabad has seen over the last 15-20 years or Bangalore has seen, Chennai has missed out on it. So that is what I'm talking about. Today we might have a lot of states which are self-sufficient, but other states are picking up way faster than what we are progressing. We are at a very snail's pace and they are at a rabbit's pace. Other countries are progressing, other states are progressing way faster than what Tamil Nadu is. And if we go at the same rate, in the next 10 years, we will probably be on the 10th or 11th position, conceding space to several neighboring states, let it be Karnataka or Andhra or Telangana or a Maharashtra. We will be conceding space to several states which are faring far better than Tamil Nadu at this point of time.
Votes is the BJP netting. So you have the nationalist votes, you have the anti-DMK votes, you have the pro-Hindutva votes. You got about maybe 2.6% in 2021. That got bumped up to 11.something percent, 11.4% in 2024. What is your core vote base in Tamil Nadu?
What is being hidden today is the Tamil Nadu and the people of Tamil Nadu are very nationalist in spirit and pride. But we don't talk about them, No projects in Tamil Nadu get named after these icons of the Indian independence movement. We are busy naming projects after late Karunanidhi or Karunanidhi's mother or the ideologues of the DMK's movement. So conveniently, we keep forgetting the great people who had fought for the freedom of the Indian independence, the Tamil freedom fighters. So that spirit is being rekindled today, because the history books of the country are being rewritten. After years, the NCERT has now finally woken up and history is being actually taught to the people. We never really took enough pride in the Cholas or the Pandyas or the Pallavas. It's only now that we have started to talk about them. And a lot of thanks to Narendra Modi, because stage after stage he's been talking about the greatness of the Tamil language. He's talking about the pride of the Tamil language.
You've had the Sengol, you've talked about the Tamil Sangam.
How many people knew about the Sengol? People were not even aware of the Sengol till the Sengol was actually taken and kept in the new parliament. A system which is being followed by the Cholas is now being a part of the country's culture. So that just goes to show how important Tamil culture is in India's history.
Yeah, but thank you so much for mentioning all of that. You've had the Kasi Tamil Sangamam, you had the Sengol making its way to the new parliament, you've had Mr. C.P. Radhakrishnan being made the vice president of the country. How much of this is going to really translate into votes on the ground? Because I'm sure this is done with a certain expectation.
Yes, none of this was done aiming votes. That's just to start with. None of these things were done with the intention of getting people of Tamil Nadu to go and vote for them. CPR doesn't come in, Honorable Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan, he doesn't come and camp in Tamil Nadu. He's about doing his job, what is being assigned to him as the Vice President of the country, doing it very responsibly. So he's not trying to campaign and say, see, Modi made me the Vice President to vote for a at the same time, the DMK, which talks about Tamil pride, vehemently opposed the candidates of Sri C.P. Radhakrishnan. So a Tamil which they were trying to talk about was being opposed by the very same DMK. So the DMK is a very contradicted political organization in its own ways. So beyond that, the vote bank of the BJP today is not specifically limited to a certain section of the people. BJP in Tamil Nadu wants to be a political party which is being accepted by the majority as a large. We want to be able to help every individual, barring his caste, barring his background, barring his economic situation, barring who he was born to, or barring which religion he was born to. We want to be the answer for the problems of the people of the state, and that's why we are trying to reach every household. Even the leadership of the BJP, if you take the state leadership, leaders from various communities have been able to head the BJP. You can't say the same about the DMK because it's one family which runs the party. Whereas the BJP is concerned...
But they're a regional party, and regional parties often have family members or extensions of family members, or loyalists being made presidents or a given top post.
So that didn't happen with the AIDMK. The AIDMK had a system. They've been in existence for over 5 decades as well. But they have had 3 different people from 3 different families. No one's related to each. And they've been able to...
different communities as well.
Yes. And they've been able to run the political party really well. You have the communists who are able to do that. It's only parties like the Congress and the DMK and the Thackeray's who want to own the political party. They want to go back to the system of kings and slavery. And that's how they function, their organization. So as far as the BJP is concerned, there's a lot of freedom to express our thoughts, our views, our point of view, and we get respected for doing that.
This election, what is your narrative for the BJP, given the fact that ADMK is still your senior partner? What is your narrative for this election? Because the DMK is continuing to talk about social justice, equality, stability, and of course, Tamil identity.
What social justice is a question which we would like to ask them. There has been the entire question of social justice has become questionable over the last 5 years. We have had members of the VCK, which is in senior ally of the DMK. Their elected representatives have been banned from hoisting the national flag just because they belong to the scheduled caste. And it is not my allegation. It is them who have come out and alleged on several occasions that our members were banned from hosting the national flag because they were coming from the scheduled caste community. It's been over 3.5 years. And an incident which happened in the Pudukkoi district where human feces was mixed in water. We still don't have a solution to that. And the number of murders which has happened in South Tamil Nadu, and all these murders have been honor killing or caste based, have not stopped.
Rising violence against women,
children. They've increased ever since the DMK came to power. But the agenda which really matters today is beyond politics. What really concerns someone like me, or many of us BJP people, or Annamalai, when we discuss over a coffee, what we all discuss and talk about is majorly the influx of or the influence of drugs in the state has gone beyond measure. It's beyond imaginable limits. The availability of drugs, especially outside schools and colleges, is so easy, and people taking to this is going to be very detrimental for the state's growth in the future. Now, this is something which we are standing steadfast against, and which we are trying to reach every household, because drugs does not only affect the rich, it affects people who live in a bungalow, an apartment, a society, a villa, a farmhouse, a beach house, or a slum house, wherever they live. This can easily reach their households. And in today's time and date, it is not like the old times when you had landline, people had to call and your parents will know who's calling you. Everyone has access to a cell phone, and it's so easy to just connect and say, come behind this park, come near this ground.
So is it something that you're vocally campaigning against?
It's an electoral issue. Though we want to keep politics out of this, but we are trying to insist and make people understand drugs is coming into every household of the state.
Right.
And it is something, if we don't draw a line and stop right now. I'm not saying DMK was behind it, but I'm saying DMK stopped to control the inflow of drugs into the state. It was the same police, the same DGPs, the same IGs, the same deputy commissioners who were working under the AIDMK, who were able to control the inflow of drugs, have failed to do it under DMK, which means the DMK government as such is to blame. The failure is on them, and it is unacceptable. So this is a very big issue which the people of Tamil Nadu are facing. Apart from the safety of women, we had an episode which I don't even want to talk about, but a 2-year-old getting molested, 8-year-old getting gang raped. So and the root cause, all these miscreants who had created trouble were under the influence of drugs. So drugs is where this all starts, and the problem flows from drugs to various crimes which are happening, to brutal political murders or the rapes and everything else which follows. Everything happens because of the mind being completely distorted due to the
influence of drugs.
Yes, influence of drugs.
So coming back to the moot point now, taking all of these issues, will your narrative and will a more steady partnership in the NDA alliance help you displace the Congress from its third or fourth position? I mean, it's always the DMK, ADMK or the ADMK, DMK, one of the Dravidian parties, and the Congress has taken the third place. Will you be able to displace the Congress now that there's also a Vijay factor? Will you be able to take advantage of the fact that the Congress and the DMK continue to spar so much?
See, the only time the DMK contested alone in the last few years is in 2014, and that is when they stood exposed. I don't think they were able to even cross 1% vote share in Tamil Nadu. So that was the expose of the Congress's actual organizational strength and capacity as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. So the BJP on its own has been able to garner votes. BJP, like you mentioned, though the Congress was able to win 9 MPs, their vote share couldn't beat the BJP because the BJP's presence in the state is much higher than that of the Congress. Any day if it's a battle between BJP and the Congress, BJP will be able to hands down trump the Congress in every possible way in terms of popularity amongst the people, leadership, and as well as being able to qualitatively give development for the state of Tamil Nadu. If you're able to compare the numbers which were given, the devolution of funds towards Tamil Nadu under the BJP's rule and the Congress's rule, the difference is stark, the difference is very large. Tamil Nadu has always benefited heavily under the NDA's rule over the last 12 years. So today BJP is now vying to grow. Of course, eventually we would like to be the number one party. That's a few years down the line. That's every party's dream. So eventually we would like to be the numero one single largest party in Tamil Nadu at some point of time, and we will make sure it's a reality for the betterment of the state, of course. So today we are aligned with our senior partner. The AIDMK is always stood for the people of Tamil Nadu. They've always stood for what's right, starting from days of MGR. MGR started a political party. Why? Because he was expelled for questioning the DMK on financial allegations.
Yes.
On the financial allegations. He was bold enough, daring enough to question them in the floor of the assembly, and he was asked to go out for that. And then we had Madam Jayalalitha, who took DMK by its horns after the MGR's demise, who faced jail, who came out strong 10 times more, and who put DMK in their place. DMK was made to sit back for 10 years constantly. And then the 5 years which was given to them has been Jungle Raj. And the people are now waiting to go to the polling booth and vote these people out of power. And the BJP's position has improved drastically over the last 12 years, from 2014 to today. We have physically seen what sort of growth we've had. And this is only going to keep improving as time passes by. And we'll be able to position ourselves very well in the future. So
in the 169 seats that the ADMK is going to be standing for, 27 seats, 18 for the PMK, 11 for the AMMK, and of course a couple of odd seats for the others, the smaller parties that there are. How homogeneous is this vote share going to be? Are you this one well-lit alliance as compared to the 23 parties who are part of the Secular Progressive Alliance?
It doesn't matter how many parties are aligning with you. What really matters is who the people are with. And the people are with the NDA today. The people want the NDA to come to power. The people understand that only NDA has the ability and the capacity to take on the might of the DMK's alliance. And the people will be voting in unison was alliance. Now we have the PMK who is very strong in the northern part of the state, who's aligned. Then we have TTV who's very strong in the Delta region,
Yes.
who's aligned with the
Even probably south
as
west.
well,
Yeah.
who's aligned with the BJP. And then we have BJP itself, which is very strong in the Chennai city, was very strong in southern Tamil Nadu, Kanyakumari, Tenkasi, Tirunelveli, these regions, as well as the entire west belt of Coimbatore, Pollachi, Nilgiris, Tirupur. So the BJP's presence is very, very strong in these pockets. And the ADMK, which has presence throughout the state. ADMK has the organizational strength starting from Chennai to Kanyakumari. The organizational strength of the ADMK is unmatched. If the DMK can't match them with regard to the organizational strength. And though, a lot has been mocked against the leader of the ADMK, he has shown his leadership qualities and ability to lead an alliance and to keep the pack together. Those several attempts were made by the DMK to try to break the AIADMK.
Yes.
They stood strong as a unit. The commitment towards the party was very evident in the ADMK in troubled times. And today, it's they're going to be seeing another few glorious years under the ADMK's rule for the people of Tamil Nadu.
All right, with less than 3 weeks left for the election, I think the NDA has gotten everything right from the beginning. You've announced your alliance early, your manifestos come out early. Except for your candidates, I think everything else is in place. Everything that you do in 2026 will have an impact on 2029, the general election, which is touted to be very important as well. Wish you luck, and I hope the BJP increases its vote share and its seat share in the state.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.